is what got us there. Because without that, I'd still be underselling myself, which happens a lot in this business, and not, demanding what we deserve for the quality that we put on the table.
Can
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Welcome back to the Better Than Rich Show. I'm your host today, Mike Abramowitz, and we're doing a special member spotlight episode with Brian Danque from the Lighting Lizards. Brian, welcome to the podcast, brother.
Hey, what's up, Mike? Good to see you again.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to this convo because you and I have had some really good, dialogue in person. We're neighbors. We live 90 minutes or 2 hours apart. We just went to the Jags game with a couple other, Better Than Rich businesses that we work with. And then, you've come up for an install event, for a day here and there. So I've really enjoyed. We went round to golf earlier this year as well. So it's been really cool to just get to know you as a human, as a father, as a dad, as a husband, as a business owner, and a friend. So I'm really looking forward to just bringing you to our audience because I think, how you operate your business, some of your philosophies are really strong, and how, just see where the conversation unfolds. And it's been a pleasure and an honor being able to work with you and you trusting Better Than Rich with your business over the course of the last several months or so. So, again, welcome to the show, man. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your business, the Lighting Lizards, how you got into what you're doing. So why don't we take that as a leaping off point?
Yeah. So, as you know, I'm Brian Danque with the Lighting Lizards out of Cocoa, Florida. And, the lighting business, did something to me, that I didn't ever think would happen. I started out, in a business as an electrical contractor, back in 2018. And, while I did have a little bit of a focus on lighting, it wasn't all there yet. But I started doing more and more interior lighting and just seeing the results, and what it does to people and their emotions, when they see the project completed. And, so it got me thinking, why don't you just try to exclusively, offer lighting to people, and you can bring smiles to every home that you're in and not just have a business where you're doing that mechanical side of things. It gave me a opportunity to be somewhat of an artist and use my imagination a little bit more versus just abiding by a bunch of rules that are in a big NEC code book, which that's all fine and dandy, but it's really fun, that you can use your imagination and be creative and, talk to people about what they want, and bring magic to people. So when it came down to it, we relocated in 2022 and I had the opportunity to rebrand the business completely. So I went from Brian Electric to the Lighting Lizards. Wanted something that was going to stand out, be very different than everybody else. And so that's what I did. So we've been hunkered down now in Cocoa in the Brevard County area for going on 3 years now. Just finished up the third year. And just doing magical lighting for people has just brought me so much happiness in my business. It's not just a daily grind for me anymore. It's what can we do to go make this person smile tonight, and let them extend their living space after hours, and something that's beautiful, that feels good to be in, and something they want to, brag about and show their friends.
From your seat, what do you think most homeowners, if they're considering, luxury outdoor lighting versus going to a handyman or something like that, why would they want to hire you or your company, Lighting Lizards, or bringing in a designer? Can you kind of speak to what you do on the day to day for these homeowners that have them feeling excited, and feeling these emotions that you're talking about?
Yeah. So it's not just, the fact that we do lighting, it's from the onset of our phone call, what makes it different for them. I make them feel appreciated as soon as we get on the phone. We want to make sure that we're a good fit for each other so that we don't have any bad things that come after the project. So, we go through and we make sure we're a good fit. And then we express our qualifications to them as well. licensed electrical contractor, graduate of the International Landscape Lighting Institute, and certified by the AOLP, published in the Masters of Landscape Lighting coffee table book. Like these are the differences, when you get me, than if you were just to hire that handyman to put up your box of lights from Costco or Home Depot. So we're going through from a design centric standpoint. It's not just placing lights on trees and architecture. We're thinking about it as an image, as a piece of artwork, as we go in there. So that's really what creates that like immersive feel when you're walking through one of the lighting scenes that we create versus just seeing lights on trees and architecture.
So look, think about the logistics from this. When I'm hearing this, it's like this is like you said, art a few times. It's very custom. How have you been going through like you have a customer that wants like a real quality, immersive, hands-on experience, but if you get a project like you just landed this year, like a six-figure project, how do you still find the dance between giving attention to a six-figure project while also giving the next customer, the next prospect, like a quality experience without like kind of lowering the quality or the standards as you're trying to scale and grow from where you are to where you're going?
Yeah, I mean, so I think every project, is going to be treated with that same effort and intention, whether it's, $100,000 project or a $5,000 project. While obviously the smaller, projects are not going to have as much design detail that needs to go into it. We still need to be thoughtful. We still need to be intentional, and then treat that client just as if they're a $100,000 client. It doesn't matter to me. Everybody's going to be treated the same because I think everybody needs great lighting and they need it from me right now.
So when somebody is kind of like entering into enter your business as like a prospect, they go to what is it? They just give you a phone call. They go to lightinglizards.com. Like, what has the process been like when you went through your rebrand to like where you're at? And like, what direction are you kind of seeing it go, on how you are having these people get on your calendar, how you're using like any type of like CRM or any type of automations, or are you handling everything manual? Can you kind of speak to that a little bit to someone who's running, a multi six-figure pacing towards seven-figure home service company? Just talk to us about a little bit of how you're using and leveraging the CRM automations or not at all.
Yeah. So the rebrand, was obviously a little bit tough, and costly as they can be. Was entering a new area, new brand. So we kind of had to do a mix of things and see what held on. And, we did all the things up front. You got your SEO, you have your Google ads, hiring companies to do lead generation for you, targeting certain demographics, to land you some higher end clients. And then, you start building in those referral partners, and this organic phone calls because they see that you've got the brand authority now where they start coming in just organically. So, like I said at the beginning, it was tough, it was costly, lots of failures, spent a lot of money, with no ROI at all, but had a few good anchors, that we threw down and grabbed us some really high end clients, unexpectedly, as well. And then from there, the referrals just started to roll out, and it's great. Hey, and then you get invited to be part of this networking group, and then you join the networking group, and then you go to that, and then, oh, hey, we heard you do this, and then here's another, referral partner. So it kind of started as like heavy marketing, referral partners, and then that's when like the organic traffic started to come in just from a Google search, because we did build the brand authority, we built the SEO, we got our Google reviews in, we got the trucks wrapped so everybody can see us riding around town, and we did really well this year compared to the first 2 years. Actually better this year than I've done ever since being in business combined, financially. And I do give credit to having that brand authority in the area and being that trusted landscape lighting designer, is what got us there. Because without that, I'd still be underselling myself, which happens a lot in this business, and not, demanding, what we deserve for the quality, that we put on the table.
Can you speak to that a little bit about, you said, yeah, this is your best year since you started, and you're seeing some growth. What have been some of the growth levers or some of the things that have kind of like supported that growth for you right now? And then where do you think that growth is going to take you moving into 2026 and beyond?
Yeah, so I guess, getting some time to focus on, some of the business things that I kind of was lacking on, like example, the network meetings, as being busy. But, I found a resource. Obviously, it was, BTR. Got a hold of you guys at the beginning of the year, and it really kind of like changed my mind on how the admin side of the business can operate, without me, because that's always been like a scary thing, is to like let these processes go. And I met you and I trusted you, almost from the moment that we met. I was like, man, this is going to be something good to take some pressure off of me so that I can focus, inside my business coaching program, that's, directly related to landscape lighting. So I was able to adopt some more of those principles, take more risks, in my business, because I did have some more time. And then because of the extra, money that we've generated in the business, can make these more calculated risks to help the business grow. And that's something that I never thought that I would be able to do. As a small business guy, I've met tons of guys that have been working by themselves for 20 years, and they're happy as can be. They're good. They love working 80 hours a week. It's all good to them. But, seeing what is possible on the other side is kind of what's driven me to make these changes and take the risks that do elevate you to that seven-figure business, that we all kind of desire. It's like, I'm not trying to be $150 million company. It's great for some people, but, at the end of the day, I want to be comfortable. I want to have time for my family, and I want to provide for others as well that have the same mindset as me, to just do great things for people in our community.
And you said, so you hired BTR, which is Better Than Rich, to support you. When you said administrative, and like, and by the way, I really appreciate you saying that you trusted me from when we met at the AOLP event in February of 2025 when I spoke there. And that was awesome. That was one of the highlights of 2025 for me. I really enjoyed influencing that space and in that room. Can you just kind of speak to some of the things that were bottlenecks before, like before we met, before that event, and what were the struggles that you were going through, and what were the things that were like kind of bottlenecking you and consuming you? And then, if we fast forward now, I guess 10 months later or so since we initially met, what has kind of evolved and what has kind of changed from then?
Yeah, certainly. It's, so like, I'm kind of a guy that likes to polish systems, and I don't push it out there until it's polished, and that is one of my downfalls. But, the team did that for me rapidly. I had a concept. We sat down on an install event, and it was just very basic coming out of my mouth and getting on the paper what it needed to be. And then, using the technology and the team, we're able to build out all these different processes that would have taken me years to do on my own, just because of my lack of knowledge, with technology. As you know, I'm more of a hands-on guy. So when it came to the technology side of things in the business, I just freaked out. It was so stressful to me that I would sit and try to do something for 3 hours and get 30 minutes of work done. But trusting, another service to handle that stuff for me gave me the freedom to focus on making sure that our trucks are organized and built out properly, and that our orders are getting complete on time, and that any designs that are going to take longer than on-site designs are getting handled in a timely manner. Because I'm not trying to think about all those other small things that didn't feel as important to me, at the time. But now that they've been executed, um, they're right there, ready for me to grab when I need them. They're polished. If something needs to be changed, it's typically done, in 24 hours, which if I had to do it, it would be 24 days before it got done. So, having these systems in place and having a team that understands it and understands me and understands the business is really what I think is gonna, help float the ship and make this thing take off.
And could you speak to take off, what that means to you, like as you are like kind of looking ahead now that you have a lot of your administrative supported, you have a CRM. I don't think, did you have a CRM before, or
Yep.
did we plug in Go High Level? You already had?
Yeah, we had a CRM, but we plugged Go High Level into it so that, we can track everything now. And it's not,
What do you use, Jobber, House Call Pro, or Jobber? Okay. So you had Jobber, we brought in Go High Level kind of on the front end. We built some lookbooks for you, and some of some of the marketing materials and whatnot. So what happens from here? Like, what do you, when you're looking forward to 2026 and beyond, with like the foundation that has been laid compared to the last 12 months to the next 12 months? What's coming up for you?
yeah. So I think, I want to bring on some more help, so that I can focus more on the design side and more on, tracking down jobs, and making partnerships, with people in the area. So that's like a big goal for 26 for me. And also educating our service area on why it's important to have somebody like me do their landscape lighting. Because this year I'll get my certified outdoor lighting designer, from the AOLP. And so I'll have that credential. I have the technician credential from them, graduated from ILI, published in a book, licensed electrical contractor. So it's like, why is it important to hire me versus, the guy that, is just hustling this stuff on the side? Like why is the design part so important? And I want to be that trusted guy in the area, that does that. And I think once, we can get the information out there to everybody, it's just going to be a no-brainer for the person that really wants good quality landscape lighting. They can make decisions fast, and they know what quality looks like when they see it. Those are my ideal clients, and they're going to start seeing me coming up here in 2026 everywhere they look, as soon as they look for landscape lighting. And then once they see all the credentials that we have that qualify me to make these decisions for them, it's just going to be a no-brainer. We're just going to take off and, be able to have multiple crews out installing lights, while I can, kind of play the 10-80-10 rule, can go in, get everything going, and then I can go out and market the business, and shake hands with the people and go in the offices and have meetings and have lunch and learns and all this stuff that I really want to do, but just haven't had time to do that, because I've just been steady growing the business. And it just shows that all the hard work is paying off, because the numbers don't lie. And we are growing, at a lot faster pace than I ever thought. But now that I see that that's possible, I kind of want a little more of it.
And without getting into the specifics of numbers, do you know approximately like a percentage increase from last year, from 2024 to 2025?
Yeah, I mean, so we did about 550,000 more than we did last year overall.
Okay. So that's about what, 300% increase?
Yeah.
So you about 3 to 4x.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a little different than 70%. That's less than 2x. So you went, instead of less than 2x, it's not 70%. It's 3 to 4x, 300 to 400% increase from one year to the next.
Yes.
And one of the things that you said is that you did a good job at creating referral partners and getting referrals, and just like things kind of just like started snowballing from there in the earlier stages. And also you see that as a growth pattern moving forward as well. Do you have like a specific like process or like an approach? What's your approach you take to like generating reviews or generating referrals or generating partners? Like what is your process there and what's been working for you?
Yeah, so I mean, generating reviews, at the end of the day, it's just delivering high quality customer service to people and not treating them like they're just another job. Most of the clients that we have, are inviting me in for dinner, wanting me just to come hang out with them or go shoot a game of golf with them. Just call me just to see how I'm doing, like regularly. These people aren't just a number in the CRM. They actually become friends, and I think that's important when you're generating reviews. Um, because if they're just like, oh, you just sent these guys out here that don't actually talk to us, they don't care, they're cussing on the job site, you're probably not going to get a good review. But when you and your team are out there being very kind to people and treating them at a humanly level, it's and just being humble. They're going to want to give you good reviews. And then like on the referral side, it's just you get out and you make those connections with people. Like I was just out at a project the other day and ran into an interior designer that I've been wanting to partner with. And I got my conversation because she recognized who we were just from us, hitting them up on Facebook, commenting on their stuff. Like, just being kind and humble to people is really what can help generate tons of business for people when you're not just trying to put a value on it. The value will come with it. The numbers will show once you humble yourself and make really good decisions to be nice to people. That's really all it is. Just be nice.
Just be nice. That's a good sound business approach, right?
Just
Be nice to people. Yeah, don't be an asshole. All right, so that's the way I say it. So, that's great, man. I congratulations. I mean, almost double in the business, 70% increase from one year to the next, setting up a strong foundation as you build the team around you even more. If you were to say something to someone watching this, that maybe is going to AOLP this year as an example, and they hear a message or they're at an event and they're feeling what you felt a year, 10 months ago. You're like, damn, I don't know if I want to put my money where my mouth is. I don't know if I want to, kind of take that risk and invest. I mean, you obviously invested, a decent amount with Better Than Rich, but you also have other vendors and other contractors that you're investing in. What would you say to that person that feels really spread thin right now? They're spread thin, they're stretched, they're in firefighter mode, and they're a little bit nervous about, making an investment into a company like Better Than Rich or like any of the other, help that you've seen working for some of your friends in the industry. What would you say to them that either you got counsel for yourself or that helped you kind of make that pivot and transition to where you're at now?
Yeah, so I mean, I have a pretty good story on this. I met my friend Ryan Lee with Landscape Lighting Secrets back in 2018 in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I just went to this lighting event thing. I was like, huh, I kind of like landscape lighting, and then like said the price that he charged back then, which was nothing compared to what it costs now. But I was like, this is crazy. How's this guy gonna walk into a room, people, and say, give me this many thousands of dollars and I'll be your business coach? I was like, this is stupid. Hindsight, I should have hired him at that point, because I would have gotten a better rate and got started sooner on my journey to success. But hired a business coach. Hired him in 2022 when I rebranded. I was like, it's time to get serious. Yeah, and it hurt a little bit. When I was fresh, starting new and a new location, new brand. But I was like, you know what? I've seen success in this through some of my peers. Why not? Why not take the risk and try it out? And it's like, once you do that, you were like, okay, this hurt, but now I need to hustle. And so you hustle and then you make your money right back tenfold. Like it's wild how it happens. So then I was like became part of AOLP, get certified, make the investment to go to the International Landscape Lighting Institute, it's not cheap and it's really hard. And you got to take like 7 days off of work when you're starting out to go do this. Your phone still rings, while you're there. You still answer it. You're still booking calls for when you get back, or booking site visits for when you get back. Um, but like that's the fire that you like that I feel like you need in a business. Like you need to be around other people that have the same vision, same motivation, same mindset as you to grow. Because if you don't, you're just gonna find yourself like in this little spot with people that, there's nothing wrong with, just working for a company, but you can't grow when you're in that mindset. And so when other opportunities come along, like when I, met you, I was like, this sounds crazy. Like, I can't believe I'm about to do this, but you know what? I need somebody to take care of the stuff for me and just do it. Just do it. Like, it's just money. Like, you'll go make the money. Like, if you're an entrepreneur, you will know how you can go make that money. Like, it's not hard at all. Like, if you're a true entrepreneur, you can figure out a way to make things happen and not get hurt from it either. Like, you might fall down for a little bit, but you learn and you won't make the mistake again. So, like, I encourage you to be part of everything that associates with your business. I don't care if you're a gutter company, you're a construction company, you're a lawn service, you're a house cleaner. There's little niches for all the different industries, and like that's where you need to be hanging out a couple times a year, to get that motivation back under you, because we can get tired, from working so hard when we're still small. And but it's like you go to these things, you reset, you recharge, take a few plugs, come back, set them off in your business, and see what happens with them. The fuse might just burn out and the firecracker never goes off. That happens. But other times it's like, wow, that was a spectacle. I'm glad I did that. And it could be life changing for you. Just making these little decisions to be part of these groups, I think, is super important to any business.
Yeah, that's super insightful, and definitely coming from the guy who not only takes risks in business, but also took a lot of risks riding BMX biking. And look at that smile. Was for some reason I have a feeling that smile was not always like that. There was a segment there. There's a little small segment where that smile had some gaps in there, huh?
It did.
Yeah. So for those that don't know the story, Brian was a competitive BMXer, and he slammed his mouth into the, well, I don't want to make up the story, but from what I remember,
Coping of a quarter pipe. It happened.
but you knocked one of your teeth out or something?
Both front teeth.
Both front teeth. So this is a risk taker, so he just took that same competitive edge, brought it to business. And that's why I love this guy, man. It's just, it's fun. It's fun to be a part of the journey. It's fun to watch. It's fun to experience. And again, we truly appreciate the trust of Better Than Rich. And, I did create a visual. I have not shared this visual with anyone yet, but, if I'd like to just show it to you, because I think it kind of captures, a little bit about kind of some of the work that we have been doing, but also it just like is a one pager that, just kind of shows like the client relationship journey and a lot of what you were just talking about, like on the back end, where it's like, just be nice, like do good work. That's how you create a fan. How do you get someone to give you referrals and reviews? Like, and how do they come back to you? Right. That's the fourth phase. And then we also talked about like that first phase of like, okay, you did the SEO and got people to like ring the, get the phones to ring, but it's like, how fast do we respond to them and how many of them do we get in touch with? And then you mentioned getting to their actual home and like walking the site with them and giving them an estimate on the spot and trying to work with them in the best way possible to provide a good experience, but then also nurturing that relationship to them and with them, if whether or not they buy. So if they don't buy, we want to support them and encourage them and have a good relationship with them. And they do, we want to turn them into a fan. And this is just like a simple, phases that we're taking with businesses, just to kind of help them see, like, you don't have to like rip off the Band-Aid, do every single thing, all at once. But although when we build this client relationship journey with these homeowners, which is what I really love that you do for the lighting lizards, and a lot of the experts that have been on the podcast talk about, it's like it's not about just transactions, it's more about relationships. So anything that you want to speak to as far as that goes before we start kind of like heading towards the exits here? Anything that you want to speak to about building the client relationship, on the job, after the job, before the job, during, anything there, or according to what I just mentioned? Just curious.
Yeah, I mean that's and that's exactly what I was talking about just a minute ago. It's like you can have a client, and I noticed in my electrical contracting business, like when I just went and changed an outlet for somebody, like I didn't have like time to really build a relationship with people. And there was like, hey, here's your check, see you later. And so it's like, man, I really like was hoping for a review from this, but we didn't even have time to like get talk, because it's just a little quick in and out kind of thing. And but now that we're kind of like more of a design service and not just a contracting, come in and fix this, fix that kind of service, it's become like really important to me to ask questions, not just about the job. Like, like I want to get to know you. And by knowing your client more, you can actually do them a better service because you're going to understand where they come from physically, emotionally, financially. And then you can keep that top of mind. Like, you're there and they tell you something about their father, being ill. And then you go back 6 months later and you just, hey, how's your dad? And did he recover? Like those little things right there are really important to people when you remember them. And while I just have a memory for all that kind of stuff, I don't know how, but I do. Your team can do that too by just taking notes. In your CRM, like, hey, let's talk about this next time we're here. Like, just bring it up. And people get to know you, like you, and trust you better. That's when it really, really takes off. Is like they're like, this guy, you have to have this guy do your stuff, and you can't hire anybody else. He's going to be a little bit more expensive than all the other quotes you're going to get. But at the end of the day, you're going to end up with somebody that's always going to be there for you and is always going to take care of you, will always be kind to you and your family, always there to pet the dog. Um, because that's important too. Always pet the dog.
Yeah.
And that's just, the way that I see it. Um, we have to build that trust and we have to have people like us. And you'll be successful in business no matter what it is.
Great. Brian, was there anything that I didn't ask you or that we didn't talk about today that you're like, dang, I was kind of looking forward to talking about that?
I don't think so, but I will say, it's no matter where you start at in business, whether you did everything yourself, whether, you kind of were brought into a business, it doesn't matter. Where you're at right now, just we got to set our goals, and you do have to set your timeline though, on how long you want to work on that to get there. But I just say, don't give up, on anything you ever want to do. I've been struggling to hit my financial goals a little bit, over the past few years, but I got there. I put in everything I had, and now I feel like I'm about to raise the trophy, which is fun. It's like I've never had an opportunity to do that, and through hard work, perseverance, good friends, and just surrounding myself around great people, anybody can really be successful. It's just what is your willingness to take a risk, and what's your willingness to be successful? I mean, that's kind of what dictates it all. I talked to a lot of people that are just like, oh, I just want to quit. This sucks. I'm like, well, that's how you're gonna be living the rest of your life. If that's how you feel. Because it doesn't suck. Entrepreneurship is great. It's the best thing in the world. You can do great things for yourself and for people in your community. So all I have to say is if you feel like you're struggling, don't give up. Don't give up. Keep pushing no matter what you got to do.
That's the real counsel and wisdom from a champion. So I love that. I absolutely love that. We ask every guest, Brian, the same question. Of course, I also want to give people a chance to stay in touch with you, especially if they're a homeowner in the Cocoa Beach or the Brevard County area, where they could get, in touch with you. But before we do that, we like to ask every guest, what does it mean to you to be better than rich?
What it means to me is to have time back in my life, to do the things that I like to do and want to do. Because, while I like to be a business owner, I also have other hobbies, that are important to me, and they get neglected from time to time, and they actually bring me so much joy when I do get to do them. It's like, man, how do I find the time to do this? And while being rich can certainly help that. It's at the end of the day, it's doing the things that bring me pure joy is what truly is better than rich to me.
Great. So if someone's in Cocoa Beach, someone's in Brevard, someone wants to stay in touch with you, Brian Danque, or someone wants to go to the Lighting Lizards and, maybe get an estimate or something, what's the best way for them to stay in touch with you?
Yeah, you can just jump on the website, the lightinglizards.com. You can jump on the contact form there. It'll go straight to my calendar if you want to book with us. You can find a lot of resources there about landscape lighting, and see some photos of our work. Or you can just reach out on the phone, give us a call, 321-614-1503. Answer the phone pretty quick and get you scheduled up.
Yeah, I love it. I love it, man. And I love that you gave a shout out to AOLP. You gave a shout out to Ryan Lee. These are really prominent figures and organizations inside the lighting space. So you're doing great work. And just to capture it, just because I know you said you flubbed it a couple of times, but while we're here and while we have momentum, you got a chance to present your 5-figure idea to anyone in the outdoor lighting space. And if I'm not mistaken, you suggested Better Than Rich was that idea, but you said to me, you're like, man, I forgot how to talk, or whatever. But while we're here, you have the mic. Better Than Rich is here. You're on the show. Why did you say that was your, what did you want to say, or what did you mean to say as far as like, that was your 5-figure investment for the year for someone that maybe is considering us, or just what it did for you? Anything that wasn't said today, just to capture it.
Yeah, got it. So what it was, it's a $10,000 idea. What helped you generate an extra $10,000 in revenue? And what it was for me is, brand authority is one, because we had a lot of outreach, which created more traction for us, which got us more jobs. So this is probably more than a $10,000 idea, just by hiring, a service to take care of some of these things for you. It bought me back more time so that I could focus on what I'm good at, which is, landscape lighting design and installation and electrical contracting, which at the end of the day, I was getting things done quicker on my side. I was able to have more time to go to networking events, to shake more hands and make more friends. So at the end of the day, it was probably more like $100,000 idea, or possibly even more than that. Just offloading some of these tasks, they were eating my time up and causing me to actually lose revenue because I wasn't good at them. Like it's one of those, if you're not good at it, find somebody that is and hire them. And so that's what it took, for me. And that's why I think it's a great idea for anybody that is, anybody actually, in business, but, you're struggling, you're doing all the things yourself, you're wearing every single hat in the business. Throw those hats on some other people. It's going to cost you a little bit of money, but at the end of the day, you're gonna make way more money than what it costs, to hire a team and a service to do what you guys are doing for me.
Wow. Thanks again, Brian. We really appreciate you, and looking forward to the next exchange. And, we're recording this 2 days before Christmas. So Merry Christmas to you and your family. And we really appreciate, just being able to partner with you in this past year, and excited about, what's to come, and continue the partnership and whatever makes the most sense. So thanks again to you, and listener. Obviously, thanks again to you for listening and supporting the show. Without you, there's no show. So this season 4, we've brought in a lot of experts. I think we're maybe 25 or 30 experts in on season 4, specifically serving the home services space. everyone that's an AI expert to running a successful business, like multiple, 7, 8-figure, 9-figure business in the home services space, and sharing their best practices, marketing experts, branding experts, everyone that served the trades, and just been an honor to add value in this way. So this has been great. Again, Mike Abramowitz, Better Than Rich. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, leave today better than you found it. We'll see you next time on the Better Than Rich Show. Cheers.
Happy days.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the show, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review. To catch all the latest from us, you can follow us on Instagram at betterthan_rich and join our Facebook group at the Better Than Rich Show. Thanks again for listening. We look forward to seeing you next time. And remember, leave today better than you found it.